Hey everybody, this is Aylad, and today I'm bringing you not one, but two Isanth refits. So the work is done. I did all the work on this one, or 99% of it, on a recent stream, and I did this one off camera. So I'm just going to be giving you a quick tour of the changes that I made, and switching these Isanths over to the new power system, as well as trying to give them an actual purpose and useful utility in a survival game. Alright, so just a quick look at the outside first of all. I made very few changes to the outside, mostly cosmetic. Added in a little bit of this piping here, top and bottom, and it, I probably overused this as a decorative element, but I feel like it adds a lot to it. I opened up the back a little bit, so that now we get this nice little thruster plume. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I put in directional thrusters. This would be for controlling, pitch and yaw and whatever. I straightened out the top of the cockpit a little bit. There was another block of glass wedge, yeah, right here, and I didn't really like the look of that, so I just kind of right across the top. And I added a rail docker and a little bit of logic here. The purpose of the rail docker is I'm planning to design a more or less standardized system of belly docking and Isanths and similar ships, and obviously I need a way to attach that. That's going to be an upcoming project. And the purpose of the logic here is very simply to get in. I wanted to actually logic control the door. Other than that, I left the hull almost completely vanilla. The only change I made to the actual shape of it, not counting the pipes, is in the vanilla one, there's a little bit of a notch where this curves back in right here. And that is, in my mind, such a subtle detail that it doesn't really even need to be there, and it reduced the inner volume of these side pod structures here. I wanted to get as much volume out of those as I could, so I just kind of smoothed that out and claimed a few extra blocks of space inside. On the inside, I've obviously got the new power system. I'll talk about it and the chambers here in a little bit. Got a little aesthetic work, some of my pipes again. Got a faction module right here. The engine room's totally changed up because I swapped out system blocks. I installed a couple of display module readouts. This one it's got a lot of actual codes on it. Only code on this one is actually for the name of it, which in this case is Aylad 1. I completely redid the cockpit. I hated the old behemoth of a pilot's chair that was up here, so I swapped that out. I do have a camera right there now. I still have the nose cam. It's kind of tucked back under that armor, but I always kind of like the actual pilot cockpit view. So the nose cam's there, but yeah, I'm going to be using this a lot. Yeah, I think that's all the interchanges except for the new power system and some necessary redecorating I had to do to work around that. I definitely wanted to keep these looking like, engine rooms, technical chambers, whatever. So even though I completely gutted them, I kind of rebuilt them back in a similar style. As far as the chambers go, what do I have? I've got jump charge time 3, jump power efficiency 3, jump distance 3. That leaves me with 20% free capacity. As you can see, I've got to have 20 blocks to a chamber to actually make it work. And I was out of room. I didn't want to take up another 20 blocks of room. So that last 20% is just going to have to be free. That's fine. Oh yeah. One other functional change. Two other functional changes. We've got shields up there. The vanilla Isanths have these little cavities up here, and also down here. This is, you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like looking at the one down here. They serve absolutely no purpose, so I crammed the top ones full of shield capacitors and rechargers, and the bottom ones are, there we go, are cargo. Yeah, so you can actually store stuff down there. Got a few extra little capacitors up here as well, just because. Oh yeah, and this button forcibly undocks the rail docker. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I didn't do a whole lot of work. It took a little while. If you're interested in watching the actual process, like I say, it's on my most recent stream. Yeah, let's see how it does. Canon computer is stock, it's default. See, it barely, if you look way over, let me get into this mode. If you look way over on the right edge of the screen, you see the two green bars. The green bar that's all the way up is by power generation, and the green bar that's barely got any in it all the way over on the edge is power drain. You see that power drain barely does anything at all when I fire the weapons. And then I've got jump drive. Ignore the scanner here. If I run it, what charges? This is with no chambers attached. Then when I actually use it, it just says scan 1.0. I don't know what that does. I don't know if it does anything at this stage in the development process. I am still running a dev build. So who knows really. But the jump drive is definitely functional. We point away from a star. Now watch as I jump. Let's see. Let me actually select a destination. I can go 32 blocks. 32 sectors. So 1, 2, 3. Alright, so I can jump all the way here on a single jump. That's amazing. Yeah, and I can recharge the jump drive while I'm getting there. So if you watch, refilled about the same time that I actually exit my little wormhole. So that is fantastic. I love this thing. Basically, I've made the Isanth a very reasonable courier, or if you prefer, a little scout ship. Even though it doesn't really have the scanning capacity that it needs to be a really functional scout ship. But yeah, let's see. Let me jump back. There's a little bit of delay before I started charging it. Still, you'd never notice. Alright, just come over here. Let me exit my ship here. Close it behind us. Oop. Did that work? Nope, that didn't work. Come on. A little bit of lag. And we'll come down and check out what I'm calling the Void. I've named both these Isanths Type 17s. That's just Type 17 with nothing after it. This is what I'm calling the Type 17 Void. Oh yeah, it's already open. Now, look around. What do you see here? What do you think? Very different color scheme. All I really did was swap out the lights. And then I've got some extra chambers. This is actually a 5-chamber setup, whereas my old one was 3. And as you can see, the whole purpose of this is we've got permanent jamming and cloaking. And that is amazing to me that we're able to do this. Like, I don't know if you've ever tried to build a permanent cloaking ship in Starmade before. It was possible. It was not feasible. And the fact that we can do it now is so satisfying. I mean, this is an actual ship. It's still got all the same weapons, right? It does have the vanilla unmodified jump drive, which means it only goes like, I think 3 sectors. And it takes a long time to charge. So, you know, it doesn't have the range that this one has. But still, it's a functional ship. Still got the same shielding and everything. and it perma-cloaks. Man, I love it. Alright, so if I go into lighten mode, you see a little bit more of the work that I did. I did have to, let's see, the cloaker and the jammer chambers both needed to be linked to the stealth strength chamber. So I used it here in the center and then kind of branched off from that. Then I've got my stealth usage time upgraded all the way to permanent with that chamber, and this chamber back here is the power efficiency one that makes all this kind of manageable. I do think there's a glitch. I'll show you the glitch in a little bit. I don't think this is working actually the way that it's supposed to. But yeah, other than that, I just swapped out the lighting. Make any other changes? Yeah, I changed the hull color so it's solid black, because it's a stealth ship. I mean, obviously. Left the hazard stripes. Maybe I shouldn't have, but I did. There it is. Yeah. A couple of very nice looking Isanths, if I may say so. But let me show you what I think is actually the bug with this. So right now I am uncloaked. If I activate the cloak, my power doesn't change at all. I'm consuming exactly as much power as I was before. That doesn't seem right. I am fully cloaked. If I exit the ship, you can see, or rather you can't see, that, yeah, the ship is invisible. You know, in build mode, of course, you can see it. I should be using a lot more power than that. So that kind of sucks. Thrust power consumption is way up, but it's the same even when I have stealth mode disabled. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna have to tweak that. I don't think it's working as intended. As far as that goes, let me show you the actual power system, kind of how it's located. All right, so the generator, as I showed you, is in the back of the ship. That's it. It's completely contained in that little slice there. It's a fairly small reactor to be able to perma-cloak a ship or jump 32 sectors, wouldn't you say? From there, we've got conduits branching off on the long-range scout ship. We've got this little bit and these two straight ones. The straight ones are exposed a little bit on the underside. Then, since I had to add in longer conduits, or extra chambers really, I've got a couple extra conduit lines just on the stealth ship, and those are also exposed just for one block. So a little bit of exposed systems. I don't consider that to be too big of a disadvantage. You can see the chambers here. Again, on the one that's just the jumper, the scout ship, we've got the big ceiling chamber. We've got a chamber at the rear of each side pod, and then for the cloaking, I had to add two, and that kind of fills up those little engine rooms. But that was a small price to pay, and that's kind of why I wanted the engine rooms to be there, so that I could expand more chambers. Finally, the stabilizers. Both ships are exactly the same. They're located way up front in these pods, protected only by a single layer of standard armor, and in fact, a very narrow window to shoot out a couple of system blocks to get at them. So that's a little bit weak, I guess. They're not really well protected, but considering the shields on the vanilla Isanth is only like 3 or 4 blocks of capacitors, and I've got 20 blocks on this one. It's definitely a lot more resilient than it used to be. So I'm okay with the fact that these are not super well protected. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with these. Like, this one, okay, it's a shuttle, you know, basically. I think it works pretty well as that. The weapons are questionably useful. This one's a permanent stealth ship, dude. I mean, come on. How do you how do you do that with an Isanth? It's crazy that this is possible. I love it. I love it. I'm so excited that stealth ships are finally the actual option for us in this game. Man, this is just great. There is one other little glitch, other than probably a bug with the power usage. I can't turn it off. I've reported this on the bug tracker. Like, no matter what I do, you see the little green pop-up up under my my radar, the upper right? It stays gem and cloak true, and it doesn't matter what I do to that hotbar item, it's gonna stay fully cloaked. The only thing I've figured out where I can actually get rid of it is to sever the conduit lines. And then of course I have to go back in and replace it. That does work. Is a pain. Takes time and effort, and we don't want things to take time and effort when it should be a simple click on a hotbar. But like I say, I have reported it on the bug tracker, and so hopefully they'll get that fixed up pretty soon. But anyway, 2 actual useful versions of an Isanth ship that a lot of people just use as target practice when they're quickly testing out a turret. So I'm feeling rather proud of myself. Which is my normal state of existence anyway, but I think for once maybe it's justified. And I hope you've enjoyed watching me show these 2 babies off. I've definitely enjoyed building them, and if you want to see the actual build process, the archive live stream of me doing this one is publicly available on my YouTube channel. So thank you in advance for checking that out if that's something that you're interested in. Thank you for watching this, and I hope you enjoyed it, and hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.